What is up, everybody? My name is Advance, and this is Advanced Sports Talk. So, it's time to break down these primetime games. But first, I'm actually surprised that I didn't talk about this in my last video. So, right now, this wasn't a primetime game. This is a game that I actually left out of my last video. But we're going to give it a little bit of an upgrade, because it's a primetime worthy matchup. The Arizona Cardinals versus the Kansas City Chiefs. However, without Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. So, right now, we're going to show some love, pun intended, to this man's NFL debut, Jordan Love. So, I was hopeful when I saw this when I heard this news, because I was like, oh, now we get to see what this kid can do outside of preseason and going into victory formation. so man, it was crazy because, like, when you look at it, you're like, oh man, he's facing the Chiefs. But remember, with Justin Herbert, same draft class, did against the Chiefs in his first start. He hung 33 on them. The Chiefs just happened to score 35, but in any case, man. And for the most part, he pretty much did as well as you could expect a rookie to do. He only had one interception, and which is, well, he's not a rookie, he's a second-year player, but with this being his first debut, there's going to be trial and error, with him, this being an actual, like, game, an actual real game situation, So, he, what was he, 19 for 34, 190 yards, one touchdown. Yeah, not bad. It's a little bit over 50%, I believe. So, let's see. Patrick Mahomes did not play much better. 20 for 37, 166 yards, and one touchdown. So, I'm going to tell you how close this game was in a second. As soon as I check receiving stats. Okay. All right, so the Chiefs did win this game. 13-7. Yeah, 13-7. Now, the 7 doesn't really surprise me. This is Jordan Love's first start. And as the game started progressing, he was getting a little bit better. So, he was settling into that starting role. He was finding Adams, he was finding Lazard. Yeah, he was finding Adams, he was finding Lazard, he was finding he was finding Adams, he was finding Lazard, he was finding Cobb. He called the runs when he needed to. Yeah, he was able to check into he was able to dump it off to AJ Dillon when needed to. So yeah, he definitely has shown that he can make use of the weapons that's at his disposal. Like, hold on. So let's take a look at this. Randall Cobb, 3 receptions for 50 yards. AJ Dillon, 4 receptions for 44 yards. Devontae Adams, 6 receptions for 42 yards. So yeah, like, he's definitely shown that he can do that. And you know what? If there wasn't a couple of field goals missed by Mason Crosby, this might have been a completely different result. So, I mean, shit. You saw what the Chiefs did. They scored 1 touchdown and kicked 2 field goals. So yeah, Jordan Love was able to find Alan Lazard at the with a little bit under 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter, with damn near with a chance to win the game. So, like, oh man. So by but on one hand, I understand that if you hold the Chiefs to 13 points, you should win. However, with it just seemed like it was the same thing that that's been happening to Jalen Hurts all season. Just taking too long to get started. But once he settled down, he was starting to make the connections that he needed to make. So I think that next season, after Aaron Rodgers leaves, should I stay? Should I go? I don't know. They're going to be very comfortable handing Jordan Love the reins. So, yeah, they're in very capable hands. But I don't know. The Chiefs, this can't continue, because if they end up making the playoff, right now it's looking like they're not making the playoffs. If this Chiefs shows up in the playoffs, they're getting stomped in the first round. Mark my words. Because as it stands right now, there are 2 ties in the AFC West. The Chargers and the Raiders at 5-3, and the Chiefs and the Broncos at 5-4. So, yeah, like, what did I say? There's no runaway team this year. There's no whipping boy team. There's no guaranteed wins. All right, so now moving on to the actual point of this video, the primetime games. So this first up, Thursday night football, the New York Jets versus the Indianapolis Colts. And oh man, this was I almost hurt for this one, because just as fast as the Mike White story started, it almost ended. He got taken out with an injury early on. So Josh Johnson ended up coming in and taking over. Man, I swear, like, he didn't. I keep losing track of these XFL players, man. But even though he didn't start there, he really started with us. But like, that just goes to show you they can come from out of nowhere. I didn't even recognize him at first, but yeah, 27 for 41, 317 yards, 3 touchdowns, threw 1 interception though. Carson Wentz, 22 for 30. He's definitely improving on his average. 272 yards and 3 touchdowns. That change of scenery is working out for him. He's getting back to the Carson Wentz from 2018 or 2017. Let's see. Jonathan Taylor, 19 rushes for 172 yards. God damn. Yeah, he's becoming that new Derrick Henry. Yeah. Colts ended up beating the Jets 45-30. Next, the Tennessee Titans versus the LA Rams. Who did they get to fill that rushing that Derrick Henry role? A guy by the name of Adrian Peterson. Now, Peterson didn't have much impact on this game. He had 10 rushes for 21 yards, but Deontay Foreman actually had 5 rushes for 29 yards. And Jeremy McNichols, who had 7 rushes for 24 yards. So basically they took the Derrick Henry responsibility and they divided it amongst the backups. But Adrian Peterson though is a presence. If not a dominant runner, definitely with a veteran's experience. So, he can, instruct and direct and maybe demonstrate sometimes. But yeah, so LA, I don't know what got into him, but with this being, the week after or the week of the big trade with that they made with this being the week of the big trade that they made with Denver or for Von Miller, or them acquiring Von Miller from the Broncos was, it was supposed to make a statement. They were supposed to be like, all right, now this is going to prove that they are a force to be reckoned with defensively, because they already got Jalen Ramsey, who's going to neutralize your best receiver, regardless of who he is. They got Aaron Donald, and now they got Von Miller. Even though Von Miller isn't the Von Miller from the back-to-back Super Bowls that they went to, the key is mindset and experience. So he can instruct and demonstrate. So yeah, like even 60-70% of Von Miller is still like more than enough to be taken seriously. Yeah, Ryan Tannehill, 19 for 27, 143 yards. One touchdown, one interception. Matt Stafford, 31 for 48, 294 yards, one touchdown, and two interceptions. And yeah, we already talked about the passing. Robert Woods, 7 out of 10 for 98 yards. A.J. Brown, 5 receptions for 42 yards. Julio Jones, 4 receptions for 35 yards. So that's their little 1-2 punch. Let's see. Robert Woods. Lil Cooper Kupp, 11 receptions for 95 yards. So yeah, so they've been moving the ball. It's just looking like they just been kept out of the red zone. Titans beat the Rams 28-16. And last but most certainly not least, the Chicago Bears versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Najee Harris making the rushes where it counts. Oh man, yeah. I think in this game, Ben's regression started to slow. He's not able to throw that ball quite as deep. I warned y'all about that earlier in the season. But despite that, 21 for 30, 205 yards passing through 2 touchdowns. Justin Fields, 17 for 29, 291 yards and 1 touchdown. So his progression, well, he threw an interception too, but yeah, his progression is coming along nicely too. Ever since that beating that ever since they threw him to the Wolves in Tampa. So that was a needed improvement or needed experience to produce the improvement that was required. Long story short, this came down to the Steelers was dominating this game. Well, long story short, this came down to a taunting penalty that was thrown and has come under scrutiny in the league. So yeah, where like the ref, I think it was like who was it? I think it was Mason Rudolph that was on the field or whatever. There was a player after a play, one of the Chicago defenders or linebackers had stood up, and the ref looked at him. Him and Mason were like face to face, I guess, and nothing was said. The guy walked off. He walked past. He maybe bumped into the ref, and then the ref threw the flag. How you gonna wait till the guy walks away? You've already determined that nothing went on. Like, oh my God. But in any case, yeah, so very impressive showing by Justin Fields. Maybe not this year, but next year, the Bears are going to be should be able to play at an elite level. Yeah, they got several guys. They got Mooney, Goodwin, of course, Allen Robinson. He's the OG, and Cole Kmet, the tight end. So he had He had 87 yards receiving. Allen Robinson had 4 catches for 68 yards. Goodwin had 1 catch for 50. So Justin Fields is able to find those spots. So he's going up against the top defense in the league definitely helped him out. Yeah, I'm yanking my chain. I'm gonna take credit for everything in this league. Shit. Long story short, like, Pittsburgh dominated this entire game, but they started to come back. The Bears scored 21 points in the fourth quarter after not doing anything for the entire game. First quarter, 0. Second quarter, field goal. Third quarter, field goal. Then the touchdowns just started coming. Like, in any case, Steelers ended up beating the Bears 29. But in any case, that was my primetime breakdown. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe on all of my social medias. Check back later. I have UFC results. Actually, now that I think about it, I will have a Plant vs. Canelo video up very soon. So, my name is Advance, Goal Assassin. Merch in the link below. Happy Veterans Day. Happy Military Appreciation Month. I'm out.